Hey everybody, I wanted to come at you at the top of this special episode here to inform, because we forgot to do the plugs at the end of the episode, so I'm going to do that now. You can follow me on Twitter at Sanjul, that's SANJUUL as usual, also bit.ly/Sam Does a Thing, to check out my YouTube, and also Deadpool Alpha on PSN if you like. And then our mystery guest can be followed at AC Summerfield on Twitter, and his website is acsummerfield.com. I bet you'll never guess who's on this episode. Yeah, that's about it. This one was fun to record, and also a little bittersweet, but I won't say any more. I'm sure you could probably guess based on literally what I just said what's about to happen. But again, please enjoy. It's just us goofing, us boys, OGs goofing. So yeah, check it out. Love you. Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Metal Gear Mondays, the Metal Gear book club style podcast where we cover everything Metal Gear, top, bottom, left, right, inside, and out in pseudo-chronological order. Whew! It's old school. I'm Sam Wright, and I'm joined today by...
Zachary Christopher Cole Isaacson, the James Cameron of podcasts. I think I managed to get everybody else's, all the other host names in there.
Zachary Cole, Christopher Isaacson, the what?
The James Cameron of podcasts.
The James Cameron of podcasts. His name is my name too.
Of course. Yeah, this is, I almost said number one, I guess. Tied for number one biggest Shenmue fan of Metal Gear Mondays. This is Alessio Summerfield reporting for duty.
How you doing, Big Cat?
Doing pretty good.
Been a while.
Yeah, it's been a second. I feel like the G-Man came and put me in like cryostasis and then woke me up and was like, "Hey, we need you.
The right man in the wrong place can make all the difference in the world."
Now in VR.
Now in VR. Half-Life Alex, play it today.
Yeah. Metal Gear Mondays, Alessio. In VR, exclusively. It's weird. I hate when I see prequel games and then everybody in the prequel looks like way better than they did in the game that it's a prequel to. Yeah. And it's like, what the fuck happened in the short time span between the prequel and the sequel?
I know, this picks up 5 minutes after the prequel ends. Did you fucking baseline a fucking 8-ball? Like, what are you doing?
Everybody looks like Legos smeared with peanut butter. What happened?
Legos smeared with peanut butter. Jeez, that's unpleasant, because then, like, if you step on it, then you're not only does it hurt, but your foot's covered in peanut butter.
Yeah, probably feel. Do you think stepping in peanut butter feels akin to stepping in dog shit?
I guess it depends on the rigidity of the dog shit.
What I'm trying to say is that Jerry shits peanut butter.
Oh, okay. Do you use it for sandwiches?
Yeah, because he's my little peanut butter wolf.
Oh, that's adorable. That's fucking too sweet to exist. I'm cutting that out.
You should just censor the whole thing. It's just Jerry's my sweet little beep, and you're like, whoa, dude.
Whoa, dude. Chill the fuck out. It's not that kind of podcast, dude.
But yeah, so
it's not the kind of podcast, dude.
It's 2020. I'm assuming that the podcast now has floating cars and there's like pyramid skyscrapers and fire shooting straight into the air for some reason.
Mm-hmm. We have Marty McFly now.
Yeah. Do you guys have an Atari logo the size of a skyscraper?
Yes, that's
beautiful.
We made sure that was going to happen in time for 2020. It was our first act of the year. We did it. Mission accomplished.
Very nice.
So Jesus. So when did we record that one episode last year?
Oh, the first impressions of the Death Stranding stuff.
Well, so not the Death Stranding. So we did all the like the Death Stranding like first impression things like that. But I'm talking about the Tale of Two Alessios episode. Everyone. It was September 28th, 2019 was the last time that your voice was heard on this podcast. And then the September 23rd was the last official episode, which was our interview with Jennifer Hale.
Oh yeah.
That we did.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
And then your legacy you leave behind is that the last discussion episode was about Ludens fan Jeff Keighley. So of course.
Beautiful.
So and that was on September 16th. So September of 2019, man.
Well, no, because we did the secret episode when Death Stranding came out.
What secret episode? Oh yeah, we did do the secret. Yeah, I forgot about the secret episode. Back. It was so secret.
I came back after mainlining Death Stranding for 48 hours straight like a fucking crackhead.
Same. That's right. I forgot about that. So when was that? Let's see.
It was like the 11th of November, I think.
Yeah, exactly November 11th.
Yeah.
Dude, what the hell? Yeah, so November 11th. It's been a couple months. Let's see. So
I only just now beat Death Stranding.
yeah, he beat it like literally within the last couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, I think it was like 3 weeks ago, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Well, so while I have you here, spoilers. Give me like your off the cuff.
Oh shit!
Like short impressions of Death Stranding.
For anybody who's not on the Discord, where I once a week have like a micro stroke and forget whether or not I said anything about Death Stranding, and then I'm just like, no, your opinions are wrong. This is what I think. No, yeah, I guess so. I haven't said anything to anybody in the Discord about this. I said something to, who the fuck was I talking to? Oh, I was talking to my coworker. Her boyfriend played through Death Stranding, and she watched him play a little bit of it, and she goes, hey, Kyle, should I play this when you're done with it? And he just really nonchalantly goes, not at all. And she was like, did you put 80 hours into it? And he's like, yeah, I did, and I love it, but nobody should ever play this game. Anyway, so I was talking to her about it, and I told her this. The last cutscene, so the last hour of the game, I have never fluctuated between saying out loud to myself, what is this horse shit? I'm giving this a 2 out of 10, to then saying out loud, never mind, this is actually pretty fucking cool, 9 out of 10, and then going, no, this is fucking awful, and then like jumping right back into like, I have tears in my eyes, 9 out of 10. Like, it was a roller coaster, Sam. Like, I've never loved and hated something so frequently in such a short window.
It's a very strange paradox, isn't it?
It's surreal, because I still to this day don't know whether, like, the gameplay feels like popping bubble wrap. Like, I love it. Like the
gameplay is phenomenal.
Yeah, it like tickles an itch that I didn't know I wanted. But I just I don't know, man. Like, the story feels, Higgs feels like Skullface, and the story feels like Metal Gear Solid 5 to me a little bit. Where it's just like the bulk of the cool cutscenes are at the beginning and the end, and then there's just like 60 hours in the middle of no story, really. Yeah, I don't know. It's both the best game I didn't like and the worst game that I liked last year.
Huh. That's an interesting way to put it.
I think. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I keep jumping between like a B+ and a C in my brain.
Okay. That's respectable. Seems like an average.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's
people
not...
People don't respect a C+ anymore. People don't respect a C+, Booby. They're just talking about how it's a C+ and not thinking about how it's at least average. We all need to at least aim for average.
Yeah, of course. It's, technically, I think it's really cool that a team fucking formulated from the ashes and then put out a game that looks like this in 3 years. Like, that's insanity. Mm-hmm. But I just think, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't, it's... That's me. That's me doing like an Al Pacino, like a Robert De Niro face, because I don't.
Lemons. Look like you're sucking lemons.
Are you mocking me, fucker? Yeah, I don't. It's weird, man. I think if at any point Norman Reedus, if at any point Sam, in the early fights with Cliff, would have just said, "What do you want?" or "Why are you chasing me?" Which he does say at the end of the game, eventually. He says, hey, we should talk. Why are we fighting? If at any point he would have done that 40 hours prior, I would have felt like the writing was a little bit better. It's, I don't know. It's very weird. It's when they choose to do the things that they choose to do, which I feel like is just a Kojima thing at this point. But yeah, I don't know. Well,
we had mentioned like on the show a couple of times, like what if instead of just appearing when he does, like what if he kind of like haunted you throughout the game, kind of like a G-Man thing in Half-Life? Mm-hmm. And how cool that would be and how much like weirder it would be.
Yeah, that'd be fucking amazing.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, it was great. Well, and like the reveal at the end was fantastic, but I think I say that and then immediately like regret the words coming out of my mouth. The reveal at the end was good. It was just frustrating because like I knew what was coming so early. I feel like just I could sense it. I was like, wait a minute, I think I know where this is going. And the fact that at the end they force you to like rewatch all of the POV BB stuff again, like. Zach and I had an 1.5 hour long conversation about why the literal fuck the beach with the credit sequence had to happen at all.
We had an 1.5 hour conversation about it on the podcast.
Yeah, dude, it still like makes my blood boil. Like I charted every square inch of that beach in the time that it took for those credits to finish rolling. Yeah, and I don't know if it's because I got to the end of the game at like 1 a.m. and didn't finish the game until like 4 a.m. because it's so fucking long-winded.
Yeah, the quote end, yeah.
But yeah, but if anybody wants to know for Twitter or Reddit or Instagram's sake, I didn't like the game so much that I quit hosting Metal Gear Mondays because of it. No, I'm kidding.
Yep.
I'm kidding.
Yep. Well, I guess let's talk about it, dude.
Yeah, let's do it.
What's up? So, at the end of in that special episode, we kind of talked. It was me and Cole and Alessio on this episode talking about how Alessio he's taking a little hiatus, and we weren't sure what was going to happen, but he was taking a break from the show, and that's when we brought Cole and Chris and Zach on, and it's been really great having them on the show, but. As the year end approaches, I got me druthers about me, and why am I talking like this? What's wrong with me? And I began to be like, hey, what's going on? What's your plan? What do you want to do? And
that's way more professional. In reality, Sam called me and he goes, "What's your flavor, baby? Tell me what's your flavor."
Well, it's assumed. Like it's implied.
Yeah, of course.
When I say anything, that's like
my
literally.
Spice Girls ringtone went off, and I went, fuck
if you want to be my lover. Hey, fuck face, tell me your flavor. But yeah, I was like, hey, what do you want to do? Like, when do you think you want to like jump back into it? Like, can you? What will he? Won't he? You know what I mean? and it came to the decision that you're not going to be coming back, right?
I am not coming back.
Oh.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
It's crazy to say. Which is weird. Well, so, Sam, we had a conversation earlier today before this, or maybe it was a couple days ago, where I was like, "Do we need to record an episode though?" Because I'm sure most people have they've just either forgotten, or
given up,
or they've given up, or who knows.
Yeah.
And Sam was like, "What are you talking about? We have to record this." And I was like, "All right."
Well, it was like the way that I said, because, well, first of all, these people do not forget, and we love that about them.
We'll talk about something that they have not forgotten a little bit later. By the way,
yeah. Oh my God, yeah. So they do not forget. That's on period. And two, even if they kind of assumed, you still deserve like a send off. You know what I mean? Like a
Viking funeral.
Yeah, we're gonna fucking cast you out to sea and fire a flaming arrow at your
hopefully it's like Game of Thrones and you guys miss like 17 times. But yeah, it's weird. I do want to say that it has I don't want to say it has nothing to do with this podcast in like a dismissive kind of way. Because this podcast is still I'm sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. This podcast is still the kind of like the most ambitious, longest running, most engaged with its audience project that I've ever worked on ever.
Same.
Just across the board. Crazy project. Which meant it was much, much harder to, I don't know, it was like on the one hand, I was like, man, I can't ever stop doing this project. And then on the other hand, I'm like, but I got to do the Rockstar thing and be like, I'm out, baby. And so, yeah, I don't know. It was kind of weird. And it's also kind of weird, too, because Sam, I guess for all intents and purposes, that makes you the last man standing.
I know. What the fuck?
Which is weird.
Wait, Isaac fell down a well, so I don't know.
Dude, to be totally honest, I have not seen Isaac since Seattle.
Yeah.
Like, literally, I have not seen Isaac since Seattle.
No, we have seen Isaac since Seattle on wrestling.
Oh, yeah. That's have you told that story on the podcast?
I haven't. I'll tell it now.
Please tell that story.
So here's me. As y'all know, I'm a fan of professional wrestling. And
the gentleman's sport.
The gentleman's sport of professional wrestling. And the NWA, which is a very old school, like classic wrestling, was purchased by fucking none other than Billy Corgan of the Smashing Pumpkins. Deny.
Billy Corgan of Roller Coaster Meme David Hayter fame.
It's such a good video. That's my favorite thing about meeting David Hayter. Have you guys seen this meme of Billy Corgan riding a roller coaster? It's like, no, David Hayter, show us.
Way to melt the ice in a fucking nanosecond.
For real. Yeah. So Billy Corgan purchased the NWA and brought it back, and so they have an hour-long weekly television show that's broadcast on YouTube. But they film in a studio in Atlanta. And so here's me enjoying the first 3 episodes of this wrestling show, and episode 4 comes on, and they do a wide shot of the crowd, and they start panning over the crowd, and who the fuck do I notice sitting in the goddamn crowd but Isaac Lim
in one of the loudest button-up shirts I've ever seen in my life.
It was like, it rivals Zach James's Tommy Bahamas. Like, that's how loud it was. It was a pretty loud shirt. And he's over here trying to get himself over is what he's trying to do.
Yeah, like, so Sam sent me a screenshot, and I kid you not, everybody that I know who knows Isaac, I've just pulled open the screenshot from like 10 feet away, and that shirt is so loud that they've all gone, whoa, what's Isaac doing?
Well, tell him what Kristen said.
Oh, Kristen could not believe that was Isaac. She saw it, and her initial reaction was, is that Isaac? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, no, that can't be Isaac. And then I had to show her the video because Sam also recorded a video and she still didn't believe it. And then I texted Isaac and Isaac texted, "Oh man, you found me." And Kristen was like, "Oh my God." But yeah, so that was the last time that we all saw Isaac.
Yeah.
I do occasionally talk to Isaac over text. We've actually been trying to coordinate him coming to New York. And that has been as difficult as one might imagine. But yeah, also Zach just sent me another fan art image, and it's good to see what appears to be Isaac in that image.
Yes.
So look at that. Look at that.
So Sean, again, the consummate gentleman and badass that he is, drew Alessio and Isaac in the Metal Gear Shinkawa style, and so now we have a fun little set of dudes.
Yeah, what's cool is that Isaac is I know he's pulling off like the night vision goggles, but it 100% looks like he should be in his flippies with his swimmy gear, which is the most appropriate thing in the whole wide world.
Yeah, I love that he's wearing flippies, dude. Like it's honestly just it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic.
It's beautiful. His little flippies.
But yeah, so yeah, that was that. But I don't bring all of this stuff up lightly because this marks the conclusion to 10 plus years of podcasting with Sam.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Because we started doing this back in...
I think it was like August of 2009, something
like that, yeah. It had to have been because, yeah.
It was like right around the time I met Kristen-ish. It was like August or September of 2009.
When you met who?
Kristen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right.
I've been podcasting with Sam longer than I've known my wife.
Not only have I fucking seen you saw you through your fucking 20s, basically, but I've been known you for like almost as long as you've known Kristen.
Yeah. That's crazy.
What's up with that, dude? That's wild.
Man,
yeah, because we've told the story before, but it bears repeating. Where Jordan Carroll, bless his heart, who started this website called Geek Time.
Yeah, now bass player for a hip indie band that opens for Metronomy in Brooklyn, apparently.
Yeah, apparently. That was such a wild picture, dude.
It was crazy. Yeah, in real life.
Did you send it to him? You should send it to him.
He even moved like him in real life.
Oh, jeez. That's fucking wild. But yeah, I started this website back in like 2008, and with a guy from the website that we were on, Sarcastic Gamer, named Tony. And Tony and Alessio went to Auburn together. I guess Bourdam poked his head into a classroom that you were in because he knew of you.
So it was either a classroom or a student organization meeting or something.
Yeah. Because he knew of you, right? And then,
which was weird in and of itself.
Yeah, very strange. And was like, "Hey, you want to do this?" And you're like, "Yeah." And so you jumped on, and then that's kind of just where it started. So we did the Geek Time podcast in like 50 different iterations. Oh my so God. We did a bunch of offshoot podcasts, and then the thing that really stuck for us was we did Metal Gear Mondays on the site. And then when the site started to kind of like spiral a little bit, we realized we had something good, and we branched it off into its own thing. And we did that for such a long time. We had a little hiatus and came back. And 2019 we had like such a banner year. Like it was such an incredible year for us in 2019. And
then I had to go and become Ghost Dad.
Yeah, for real.
So I'm Metal Gear Monday's very own sorrow.
Yeah. I am like never going to forget like any of the stuff that we did, and like the idea that we got to like talk to David Hayter together in person and Cam Clark, these like iconic figures of our childhoods, that like if you would have asked us 5-10 years ago if we were ever going to meet these cats and talk to these people that we did, we would have said no fucking way. And the fact that I got to do that with you means absolutely everything to me. And I'm not going to cry on this fucking podcast. I rebuke it.
I already did.
I know.
For more tears, go to episode 59. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, like I said, we've been podcasting together for, around 10 years, and we've been friends for as long. And you're one of my best friends, and it's going to be, weird carrying on, knowing that like you're not going to be back with me, and I'm going to do it because the show must go on. But
you have to raise our son together, Sam.
I know.
Yeah, I died in a terrible car accident, and now you're stuck with our boy.
The roof is not my son, but I will raise it.
That's amazing. Can I just point out, by the way, so I got to hang out, and I don't think I got to say this on the podcast, so between the last time I was on and this time, I got to hang out with Alice Cheng in real life, physically. That's weird. That was a lot of fun. We went to a David Lynch art exhibit, which seems appropriate. But she pointed out to me that before even the Cam Clark interview or meeting David Hayter or whatever, that like as a podcast that we kind of aimed our bat at the outfield, and we were like, that's where it's going.
Yeah, and we did it.
Because she was like, yeah, when I found you guys were talking about how it would be like a dream scenario to talk to David Hayter, and then she was like 8 months later, you were doing it.
Yeah.
So, and that in a weirdly vulnerable, sharp left turn that I'm about to take, that's what made moving to New York really fucking depressing for a little bit for me. I'm much better now. Really enjoying everything, and I feel like I've got my groove going. But I feel like the podcast and a bunch of other shit was just kind of like, it felt like if we said it out loud, it was just happening.
Yeah.
Back then.
Speak faith to power or whatever.
It was crazy as fuck. And then it was kind of similar to when I moved to St. Louis. And Sam, I'm sure you're probably a little bit more privy to this because we were podcasting, and it was before Metal Gear Mondays. But when I moved to St. Louis, it's kind of the same thing because me and Isaac got to fucking open for Dan Deacon and work for Adult Swim and stuff whenever I was in Auburn. And it went from we can play any venue we want in the state of Alabama. It just got crazy. And then I picked up and moved, and it felt like I hit reset. And I think with the New York thing, part of the reason why I wanted to take a break from the podcast was just to kind of figure out what the fuck I was doing. And in a weird way, it's I think the first few weeks after I moved, I was spending a lot of time working on the podcast, and it kind of felt counter to the reason why I had moved, I guess, in that instance. Because between work and the podcast, it's I moved here to pursue filmmaking and meet people, and it felt like I was never leaving my apartment for the first month. Yeah. And so it was just sort of
which defeats the purpose of what you're
again,
like you said, it's you trying to branch out and do that for yourself, and then just doing the same thing,
Yeah, in a weird way. I mean, as comfortable as people are listening to the show, it's almost been as comfortable for me to make the show. It's one of those, and 100% peeling the curtain back for a little bit. I'm sure, I frustrated the living fuck out of Sam whenever I was here, take the keys. By the way, the left foot trigger sticks a little bit, and you gotta lift up on the keypad and make sure you do this. And I was very much so
this is the one I usually give to my little cousin when he comes over to play video games with me.
Yeah, dude. I was 100. I was texting Cole out of the blue, and I was how's everything going? And I was texting Sam and being hey, did you remember to do this? And
yeah,
literally,
we had a whole come to Jesus thing where. Here's crazy. Something that I didn't tell you, and I will.
Oh shit! The roast of Alessio Summerfield.
No. So like, remember, so it was like, we had like a moment, like we had like a little bit of a moment where we were just like, both of us were just like really frustrated. And I think not necessarily with each other, but with the situation. And you sent me this like long email. And I got it like right after I left work. Mm-hmm. And I remember typing out the response to the email, sending it to you, and then calling Cole sobbing.
Oh my God.
Because I was so worried that like our friendship was over, or that we had like broken something. Like I would like that's how much I love you, dude. Like I had that moment. I was just like, Cole, I don't know what the fuck I do.
Oh,
such a good friend. Blah, blah. So like it was a lot.
Yeah, big ups to Cole, by the way, for being like couples therapist for a little bit.
Being uncle in the middle.
Yeah, he definitely was like also getting my random fucking like texts and stuff. And yeah, Jesus Christ. But yeah, so it was just kind of this weird, I hate to use this word because it is a little triggering for me, but I think it's applicable. Any time that I knew I had to do something that was difficult, I would put off doing it and do the podcast stuff instead. So I kind of, and I don't mean that in like a negative way, but I kind of was like codependent on the podcast.
Yeah.
Where it was like, oh, I could go do this shit that's going to require me to focus and actually be like, I don't actually put myself out there and make some fucking mistakes. Or I can do the thing that makes me very comfortable and I know how to do and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, anyway, not to fall down a rabbit hole, but I think part of the reason why I took the break was to see what I would fill the time with. Like I was a little nervous that I was going to fill the time with like not doing anything. But instead I took the opportunity to not pile my schedule filled with shit to the point where I was stressing out of my mind, and instead kind of restructured my calendar in like a healthy way.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I don't know. It's nice to both kind of recommit myself to my filmmaking. Like the fucking website overhaul that I had talked about for like a year on this podcast happened in like a weekend. Yeah. And Sam has seen an early edit of it, but I'm getting pretty close to being done with my movie. And yeah, I don't know.
Good.
Sorry, go ahead.
It good.
Thanks, Sam. I don't know. In a weird way, it feels like I kind of like recommitted myself to the work that I was doing before Metal Gear Mondays. So also, I don't mean to brag, but I found out the other day that the show that I'm the assistant editor on is the #1 show on A&E right now. So that's pretty cool.
Hey, get it, King.
Oh, yeah. First gig in New York. Pretty good.
#1 show on A&E, baby.
Oh, yeah. Fingers crossed. So, yeah, if anybody I think it's Thursday nights, if anybody wants to watch 60 Days In, that is the show that I'm working on for our American viewers. But, yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of the up and down, I guess. Jerry's still doing good. He's still being sweet. I
finally met Sweet Boy Jerry.
That's right. You did.
Did. When I was in Ohio, Alessio was in St. Louis and he was driving through and just so happened to be passing by literally the exit where not only does my parents live, but we met in the parking lot of the grocery store that I used to work at.
It was very weird. I woke up from a nap to Sam's text, I woke up from a nap after we were supposed to talk. And it happened to be literally like an exit away.
Yeah. So it just made sense and stopped and talked for a little bit and got to meet Sweet Boy Jerry. He was very cold. But not to me and the weather, but it's okay.
He was cold to the touch.
But yeah, I got to see Jerry and he is doing well and yeah, everything's great.
Jerry Cast 2020.
What I do want to throw out there is that this is not like obviously closing the door for Alessio being on the podcast like as a guest every so often. I'm not going to promise like we are not going to promise like any frequency to it obviously, but like if he pops up on an episode like or 2 months from now, don't be surprised about it. But as a regular. That this is kind of like the final chapter of Alessio on Metal Gear Mondays, which is very sad and strange. So,
I'm Ghost Stepdad.
Ghost Stepdad.
Yeah, if you're ever under a bridge in Russia and you see a skeleton, if you touch it, it might be me.
Cool.
So, for sure. Please don't shoot me in the eye.
Don't. Or stab you in the spleen.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Does that mean on Metal Gear Mondays' Cliff?
Ooh, maybe.
So I'm just going to show up in Sam's nightmares going, my podcast. Give me the podcast.
Give me my podcast.
I just have an army of like nasty oil-covered Isaacs.
The other thing that I kind of like, I wish that I don't. This I hate to say this. It's not official. Like it was never officially spoken. But I don't think Isaac is going to be on the podcast anymore.
Dude, that is the weirdest. I swear to God that Isaac is not my like ghost twin or like shadow brother or something.
Man. I would have liked to get him on this particular recording, but I honestly don't know where he is at this point to find him. I guess I need to go to that studio in Atlanta. His ghost still haunts the wrestling ring to this day.
Yeah, it's like Isaac threw down a smoke bomb and just vanished.
Scatter!
It's very weird.
So it's the end of an era. I'm going to keep carrying on as long as I possibly can. And I've got Cole and Chris and Zach with me to
they had to bring in 3 boys to replace me.
I think it's really strange. Like we went through a fucking like roller coaster because it started off with 4 and then it went down to 3 and then it was 2 for a while and then it was 3 again and then now it's 4 again. So we've kind of like gone in a little like
we were doing the scales. It's a little do re mi.
Yeah, it's like a little smiley face.
Yeah, I like it. And in the end, Sam was never alone.
Yes.
But
yes, indeed.
Yeah, did we ever? Hold on, I'm trying to reflect back on several months to make sure that there wasn't something I was going to say that I meant to say. I feel like there was something that I was going to say the last time I was on. And I could not remember what it was. Yeah, I don't know. I did talk about meeting Jennifer Hale, I think, last episode.
Yeah, you did.
That was fun.
Here's what I'll say. If I do this, my waveform looks like barbed wire.
Ooh.
So there's the little treat for you guys.
That's weird. Whenever I just talk, my waveform looks like a weird, creepy baby doll with one eye. I think if we combine our waveforms, we might have like a weird Death Stranding baby doll that never gets explained and we'll never know anything about.
Oh, no.
No, I'm kidding. Oh, we should talk about the thing. We forgot about the thing that the person reminded us about.
Oh, yeah. So, I am over here minding my own business when I get a message on Facebook on the Metal Gear Mondays Facebook page, which you can visit by going to facebook.com/Metal Gear Mondays.
Sam, real quick, by the way, I just realized yesterday when Kristen was like, hey, are we going to so-and-so's party? And I'm like, what party? And she goes, they invited us on Facebook. I realized that I had not been on Facebook since like August of last year.
Jeezy Pete.
I have no fucking I don't know. I took it off my phone.
Good for you. Good for you. You fucking escaped. Because can I tell you something, dude?
What's up?
If I didn't have to do this fucking podcast, I would have deleted Facebook like 2 years ago.
Yeah, dude, it's weird. I swear to God, if anybody has tweeted at me, I am not ignoring you, and I will be back on Twitter eventually as soon as I start fucking plugging this project whenever I get done with it. But like, I have not been on anything. I think I check Instagram every once in a while. That's about it. But I don't think I've been on anything else since like last fall, maybe. It's weird.
So the allusion to the the listeners never forget thing. So I get a message on Facebook from Jason Zarniak. He goes, just started the Peace Walker season. At the beginning of episode 70, about 21 minutes in, Alessio said that he would eat a spoonful of cinnamon if Sam's full name in Death Stranding was actually Sam Porter Bridges. Did you guys ever hold him up to that, or is he technically off the hook considering Sam has like 20 other names? And my response was, we all entirely forgot about that. I won't hold him to it, but I'll ask him what he thinks. So Alessio, what do you think?
I'll do it. I'll figure out how we're gonna. I don't know how we're gonna share it.
Well, just film it. And we'll post it on the YouTube.
Okay, cool. That sounds good. Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah. Let me figure out when, because I am getting over a stomach bug.
Yes.
So definitely give me a little bit. But
yeah,
I know what I said, and I still stand by. If that ends up being his name, it's fucking stupid. But yeah, that's fine. I said I would do it. Sam did it when he lost the Saints Row thing. So
yeah. So
Agents of Mayhem, baby.
So expect that in the coming weeks. We'll post that on the YouTube channel for everybody to enjoy.
Yeah.
And on that note, Alessio.
Hey.
Do you want to send us out the only way we know how?
Yeah, man. I think at the end of the day, no matter who you are and no matter what you do, the only real thing that defines your impact is your connection with other people.
Mm-hmm.
Because when it's all said and done, you ain't taking anything with you. It's just you and a fucking box. Yeah. It's just a box.
Love you, buddy.
Love you too, son.
Here's to you, Nicola and Mart. Rest forever here in our hearts. The last and final moment is yours. That agony is your triumph. Here's to you, Nicola and Mart. Rest forever here in our hearts. The last and final moment is yours. That agony is your triumph. Here's to you, Nicola and Mart. Rest forever here in our hearts. The last and final moment is yours. That agony is your triumph. Here's to you, Nicola and Mart. Rest forever here in our hearts. The last and final moment is yours. That agony is your triumph. Here's to you, Nicola and Mart. Rest forever here in our hearts. The last and final moment is yours. That agony is your triumph. Here's to you, Nicola and Mart. Rest forever here in our hearts. The last and final moment is yours. That agony is your triumph.
Just a box.